Hi, I'm Paul Chartier. You're watching Heart of Gold. We have a merging of two universes. Dr. Jonathan Fedock, who is a radiologist,
radiation oncologist
at Markey Cancer and does a great job. We'll talk about your unique background. And Meredith Borman with the Lexington Cancer Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So a couple years ago, I'm reading about this doctor at UK that's a triathlete. And he's doing these triathlons, raising money to buy new equipment at UK. And I thought, man, I got to meet this guy, because that's not a normal thing. Doctors go golfing. They don't do triathlons. So we had lunch at Malone's, and I'm like in awe of what your effort is and was. And from there, we had discussions, added people, and then you had a great first event last summer. And you've invented this word called Ironcology. Explain Ironcology to us.
Well, as you mentioned, I'm a triathlete. It's one of my hobbies, and specifically I like to do long distance triathlons called Ironmans. And I kind of view it as part of my responsibility as a physician, also find ways to improve the treatments I can offer, or actually improve the cancer center as a whole. So I took it upon myself to do my own fundraising a few years ago to pay for a new treatment suite. And it was literally just a blend of Ironman and oncology, so I called it Ironcology. But I did an Ironman raising money, and it ended up being very successful. So that over time, that's kind of transformed into its own little fundraising organization, again, giving all the proceeds back to the Markey Cancer Foundation and the Markey Cancer Center.
And last year you had your first event at Spindletop, and explain how that day went.
All right, so after I had a lot of people see the event, or at least see the triathlon that I did fundraising, I had a lot of people tell me that they were inspired. So I kind of foresaw creating my own race, but rather than it be a full Ironman, which is 140 miles, break it up and have it as a team event. So I conceived this race called Survive the Night. It was an overnight Ironman distance triathlon relay for teams up to 10 people. And we had a very interesting experience and race over the night last year between Spindletop Hall as well as the Kentucky Horse Park, but it ended up being a very successful event, not only in terms of people having a good experience and wanting to participate, but also raising quite a bit of money for the Markey Cancer Center.
Great visibility, and teams would come in and swim laps at Spindletop.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the biking took place around the horse park.
Right.
And then the marathon just wound around.
Kind of Bourbon, Scott County, Fayette County, and finishing back at Spindletop Hall.
Which was a great event. And I say this as a compliment, the non-delegator that you are, I don't blame you. You have a vision and you want to get it done. And you are driven to get it done, and you did that event, which is amazing, pretty much by yourself. And now I think you're open to getting help from some people and delegating, which is great. Tell me how the relationship formed with the Cancer Foundation.
Well, as you mentioned last year, I probably bit off a little more than I could chew, but there was a couple of us that put on a pretty big race. And what I really aimed to do last year was just promote a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
I wanted something that everybody could participate in. Mm-hmm. So in addition to my triathlon, I had a series of exercise classes during the day that were happening as the triathlon was finishing. And as we were kind of wrapping up after the whole event, beginning the plan for this year's event, actually some of the more senior people at UK turned to me and said, you know, the Lexington Cancer Foundation does something very similar. You know, they didn't put on a triathlon, but they put on this cycling event that was really a tour through central Kentucky. But in addition to that, they were trying to promote a healthy lifestyle with cancer awareness. And interestingly enough, we had hit up a lot of the similar gyms in Lexington to come out and teach our exercise classes. So it was suggested that, you know, maybe we can mutually work together. And the big picture is we're both raising money for the same cause, mm-hmm. cancer care, mm-hmm. patient care here in central Kentucky. Since we have such similar events, why don't we try to pull them together? And last year, my vision was what I called the Healthiest Weekend in Lexington, which was a 2-day event. Well, what better way to celebrate that than having a triathlon and a cycling event and making that our 2-day event moving forward?
So your event will still occur at Spindletop in the horse park. And then Meredith, how will it transition over to what you've done in the past with your bike event?
Well, like Dr. Fedek said, we just decided that it would be better to join forces, since the Lexington Cancer Foundation is all about raising funds and awareness for cancer patients. So why not just put them together? So this year on June 17th and 18th, we are all going to be at Commonwealth Stadium. His triathlon will start at 7 o'clock on the 17th and go all night long. The swim portion will be at the Aquatic Center.
Oh, so it's being moved then?
Yeah, so
Everything
that's
will
one
be
big
at Commonwealth
kind of
Stadium.
exciting change for this year is
Okay.
that, you know, trying to coordinate one event out town, hers in downtown, especially if all the funds are going to go back to UK.
Okay, so
basically
why not
the
have it on
cancer
campus?
services.
UK.
Yeah.
Right, so his will start on the 17th, and then at 8 a.m. on the 18th, our bike race will go off throughout Central Kentucky and Bourbon Country, so it's very exciting.
For people watching then, you'll have your still 3-part event. You'll have the swim, the run, the bike.
Yes.
The swim will happen at the pool at UK. The run will happen.
Well, so last year after the race, I asked people what did they like the most about the event, and everybody enjoyed the relay format, but also one of the neatest things is when you go at 2 a.m. and you have a couple hundred people all awake in some random place, and all the camaraderie and excitement that's there. So last year I had the race start at the horse park and kind of leave for the run and then come back. This year the whole event's going to stay at Commonwealth Stadium. So the bike course will be a really fast loop going around roads that will be closed and have protection with UK police. But it'll be a tight loop that's going to be very fast. So the riders will be going all night long. And the run exchange point will be in the exact same location. But they'll go out towards the Arboretum, kind of do a 2.6-mile loop and head back so that all 10 people on the team are able to run. Now, kind of with that same idea, we really wanted to keep the cyclists close as well. So at 8 a.m. when they begin, we're going to start right by the finish line of the triathlon. They're going to be basically within vision of each other. They'll leave Lexington, go through kind of the horse farms, and as Meredith mentioned, they're going to tour horse country. So we're going to hit the major towns, Versailles, Lawrenceburg, Midway, Frankfort, but then we're also going to hit some of the 5 most celebrated bourbon distilleries in Central Kentucky.
In the past, what was the path? What was the method for your race?
In the past years, we've started at Triangle Park, and we've gone throughout horse farms, but like Dr. Fedek said, this year we've added a little bit of excitement. We're going to stop at some of the major bourbon distilleries.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you know which ones yet or not?
We do.
Okay.
Woodford Reserve, Buffalo Trace, Four Roses, Wild Turkey, and Old Taylor. So that is something to look forward to. We've just figured to add that little bit of excitement, and you know, who doesn't love bourbon while they're riding?
And so many distilleries are really pieces of artwork.
They really
They're
are.
beautiful
I mean,
places.
you know, it's beautiful enough to ride, obviously, through the back roads of Kentucky, but stopping at the distilleries is just gorgeous. And we have rest stops always on the way, but stopping at a distillery just makes it that much more exciting.
Is your portion of it more of a fundraising portion? Is it a race? How's that going to happen?
We ask that each participant either raises or pays $100 to participate. That is for the 100, 50, 32, and 10-mile rides. And then we also have a kids and family ride that is just around the stadium, and it's going to be $10 a participant. So you can either raise 100 or more.
This is a new event, sort of, so you don't know what the numbers are going to be. In the past, how many people have you had participate?
We've had between 200 and 300, and this year we hope to have over 300. So.
And again, when they go from point to point, they ride, stop, tour a little bit, the
Yes.
distillery, and keep on going, and they just finish, and it's kind of a camaraderie fundraising type.
Sure, and at the finish line, we're going to have beverages by Coca-Cola, beer by Kentucky Ale, and food by Meats Barbecue, one of the BHG restaurants. So it's going to be a very family-friendly atmosphere. There's going to be kids' activities and music. There'll be music all night for the triathlon to kind of keep everyone going and awake. So it's going to be a party atmosphere. So.
And then we're also going to try to promote the same events as last year with some of the exercise classes. We're going to aim to have spin classes, some yoga classes. Again, just trying to get everybody out to do
on a
Something to
weekend,
promote a
they can
healthy
do the
lifestyle.
Friday,
Sure.
Saturday, or Sunday, and just get out, and there's going to be something there probably for everybody,
You got it.
every family
Absolutely.
member.
Children, we'll have Cycle U classes there and fit classes. For those that maybe can't do the triathlon or aren't cyclists, they can come and do some sort of class that's not moving, but
And one of the things I really do want to kind of reassure people about, I think both events, is, you know, the way I design my triathlon is such that you don't have to be a seasoned triathlete or a long endurance athlete to be able to do it. The minimum someone has to swim in the pool is down and back. The minimum someone has to bike is 1.2 miles, and the minimum someone has to run is 2.6 miles.
I'm in.
So
everyone can do that.
So honestly, last year I had just over 20% of the people in my race had never done a triathlon before. And one of the things I'm most proud of, last year I had 3 of my own cancer patients come out and participate in the race.
That was very emotional. Yeah.
It's something that I want to just promote, that people can come out and participate. And even with the bike event, you know, 100 miles sounds pretty far, but hey, we got shorter distances as well. So you don't have to look at our event and say it's too big or too long or too far. We've got something for everybody.
And your event is going to start on Friday night again?
Yes.
Overnight to Saturday.
To Saturday.
And your bike will start Saturday, 8 a.m. and go till people finish.
It usually takes from 8 a.m. until about 4 or 5 p.m. Everything's usually wrapped up about 5 p.m. So.
And your event will continue after the last biker comes in. Or the runner comes in. It'll continue, and the merging will happen. Have a big party at the end.
Yes.
And if you wouldn't mind giving the phone number or website that people can go to look up both events.
Okay.
Sure. You can go to LexingtonCancerFoundation.org, and you can register and find out more information on that, and that will take you to our registration and Dr. FedEx registration as well.
Separate website or not?
And if that's hard to find, if you go to Ironcology.org, I will redirect you to hers.
And last year, I mean, the detail of which you took ownership was designing the website, updating the website, designing the core. I mean, how, and I know you don't sleep a lot, but how you pulled that whole thing off was amazing. We have about a minute left. You work at Markey on human beings, but quickly tell your story about what you're doing with the equine world.
All right, so I specialize in a very unique kind of radiation. It's called implant brachytherapy. And last year and the year before, I was invited out to Rood and Riddle to do 2 equine implants that were the first of the kind ever. So I did a ocular tumor for one horse, and then I treated a bladder tumor for another horse. Unfortunately, the second tumor, that one was a pretty aggressive cancer, so I think my implant worked, but the cancer spread, and that horse didn't do well. But the first horse actually is an American saddlebred, and that implant was done a year and a half ago, and that horse is still competing now. So
Amazing.
I don't know you well enough to know that I'm in company of royalty, but I probably am.
Well, thank you.
But for what you do and accomplish, I'm glad that you're in Lexington, and I'm glad that you're at UK, and I'm glad you formed this partnership, because 1 + 1 is going to be like 50. So I cannot wait for that weekend.
We're very excited.
Thank you.
It's going to be amazing.
Meredith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
stepping in to participate with Jonathan. Jonathan, thanks so much.
thank you.
I'm Paul Chartier. Thanks for watching Heart of Gold. Go to their website and come out and have a fabulous weekend.